You looking more confident with the blue dots now?
That was one day.
I'm just saying, all it takes is one day to swap it. Training. Nice and comfortable. Locked in. I said, okay. And if you did it once, you can do it twice.
I fucking flew it against you.
Yeah, I felt that way sometimes. But you also got to look at the stats too. I was not hitting, and then all of a sudden against you, what happened? Same way in Big Ass.
Yeah.
I really wasn't getting my kills, and then I happened to start hitting them against you, and I hit them like crazy against Austin.
I think what this thing goes live right away.
I think what bothered me about the Austin thing is I missed it in regulation and could have put it away.
Right.
Another thing that killed with Austin too was the reason we were even tied periods because I flew forward.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck. I'm telling you, I went back and just looked at that shit. I was like, I blew it in like more ways than one. Because I should have been able to pull that last one out if I had not thrown a 4, which would have forced the second set of 2 out of 3. And then that, who knows what it would happen then.
Right.
I said, fuck. I said, well, no, I made a vow. I won't let it happen again. Needed a wake-up call. I like that queen I was just throwing, but for some reason, I just don't have the control over it. Like, I don't feel like I can place my shots. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, when I'm putting it out there, I'm floating into the 5-6 range, 5-6 range, 5-6 range, just trying to tweak, make a small tweak to move it over, and I wing it far to another side.
Right.
I'm like, what the hell is going on? Why don't I feel like I have the control that I would need? Like, that's the strange part. You want to do a mic check real quick?
Tired of it.
I'm talking about to see if it picks me up, because you know I have a lower tone.
Oh. Yeah. I want to go live on Facebook.
Can we record and go live?
Yeah, we can record.
And then just take snippets if you can and then create a show. And then this time make sure we keep it. Only reason I'm reluctant to go live though is because we don't have any design content. You know what I mean?
Because we don't have what?
We don't have any designated content. We're just out here.
That's the best part.
Sure.
Everybody said earlier.
Yeah, but that's because they think we didn't have anything to talk about what we did. We just give the illusion that we're having casual conversation, but there was a legit plan. You know what I mean?
Because technically it's live right now.
Are you already live?
Yeah.
Well, if anybody that sees this, what up, dude?
What am I talking about?
Oh. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? How we doing? Oh, it's picking up nice and clear. I can hear it. I didn't know if I need to turn the sound up or what was going on.
You never sat with that mic before either, so.
No, I haven't.
All right. Posted it to Facebook.
Share.
Let's see. Posted it to Facebook.
Share. Said it's all the way live. So what's going on, people? I see we haven't really gotten anybody to join us yet, but it won't stop me from go ahead and start talking because you never know who looks at the replay, right? So right now we're waiting on our co-host, Keith Kimball, to join me. So soon he'll be popping into the frame and we'll really get to rolling. So I'm grateful for you all coming and being a part of our show. And again, please feel free to give us some feedbacks. And we probably need to be posting some Venmo links or some, anything, some donations and stuff. Trying to keep the show going as we're just getting started. So anybody who's ever done a startup business or a startup anything, it takes capital to get it rolling. He's already invested in some good mics, so that's quite a bit of money out of pocket just to get rolling, but we're hoping that the investment is worth it and we can take this to something beyond probably what we ever thought it would be. So thank you again for joining us and being a part of what we're doing. Appreciate you. Link here. Send it to the group. Let the group know we out here. Wednesday Night Live. I think Thursday Night Live sounds better though.
It does.
I gotta find a catchy phrase for this. Man, somebody help me out with a catchy phrase. What should we say? Like the Wednesday wind down, you know what I'm saying? We're getting ready for the weekend. We just made it to the hump. And here we are, we get to talk about some stuff and take to a whole nother level.
Just so you know, I just posted this in my axe throwing group,
That's cool.
which Lucas and Kyle did theirs today too.
Oh shit.
Yeah. That's what I was wondering if you saw.
No, man, I haven't been on anything.
No, you good. Alright. So it's, as you can see right here, we're going to come watch the YouTube live with Troy and myself. We're just out here having a good time and talking about axe throwing.
Yeah, so come on, join me in. Let's go. Let's get this show rolling.
I was trying to get it to stream to what do you call it? Oh, you actually chatted on it too, nice.
Yeah, I put some just to see if it was live chatting.
It is.
I know, I had to just double check it. Just put something in it.
And we can see it right here too.
I think I need to log in as another person that way I can have a conversation myself.
Yes, I can see you doing that too.
Right, put something online, be like,
Dun, dun, dun.
yeah. X Thrower 5,000. Yeah, you're right. I like that idea. That's good. You're always in the chats, man. I love it when you join us. You know what I'm saying?
So you can see, and we should, I don't know if you can see the chat hardly, but we can always.
No, I got it over here on my phone too.
Oh, okay, cool. All right.
All right.
Oof. And if you, let me pull up the OBS so you can see kind of sort of a live view of what it looks like. Even though I know it's going to be delayed, but. Ooh. All right. Ooh, I heard myself.
Oh.
Shout out our sponsors.
I am. As soon as you sit down, I'm gonna shout them out. Waiting on you. And when we come together as a group.
Can you see my chat at this room?
Okay, that's
Alright. I'm coming.
all right, people. And hey, all right, the show is ready to get on the road. So, welcome to a live edition of the HWY70 show with your host Keith and your boy Troy, sponsored by the Big League Chew.
Yeah, no, not quite. I wish. That'd be a good one. I love Big League Chew, too. They got some great flavors, too.
Yeah, I know, Big League Chew.
But no, not Big League Chew.
All right, so our real sponsors, thank you for Charlie Club for actually reaching out to us and helping participate. You guys are going to see some raffles that are going to go out, participation for that. So we're looking forward to being able to raffle off one of their trolleys. It is over a $500 some odd value. And shout out to Epic X, which is where we are right now. In Raleigh, Clayton, and
Wake Forest.
Yes. So we are grateful to always have them as our host venue.
Indeed.
And so, so we're looking for more sponsors, people to come on and keep this journey going. We know this sponsorship is not something that we take lightly, and so we're definitely trying to get out here. As you can see, we're consistent. We're here all the time. So welcome. So what we're doing today?
We're doing a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything.
Yep. We're going to talk more about our raffles, like you said, some other things we have coming up in the future, our next venue and what we're going to be doing as far as you and I, and then also just hit on kind of how the week went, a little recap of what went on this past weekend.
Do we have to? Oh my goodness.
Yes. And then also just kind of, see what happens from there. I mean, if anybody in the chat wants us to talk about anything, please, leave us a message. We'll be glad to answer any questions and make sure we get them. Did it go off? Oh, okay.
No,
okay.
I was opening so I could see it.
Because up on the computer, for some reason, it's only showing you. So let me go look at that.
No, it's up because I see you. You're talking right now.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, I'm with.
So I guess it must just be that it hasn't refreshed yet.
Yeah, so I'm gonna shoot.
Oh, okay.
I just left it up so I can see the chat. So that way,
So that works.
I can see it.
So, where do you want to start? Oh, you got that nice little, fancy case and holder there. Bougie.
He doesn't call me bougie. Let me tell you something. I am not bougie.
He's very bougie.
No, look. I do like to stay in the Marriott. I like
bougie.
Hotel. I really do. But look, I tried to go cheap one time so to help us out because I'm like, look, let's lower the cost. Let's get the cheap hotel, and it wasn't good. It was not good at all. The pictures look great, but I should have read the reviews. It was terrible.
Very bad.
So I'm telling you right now.
I'm excited for Wisconsin.
Yeah, me too.
That's going to be Hilton, and that'll be a really good one.
Yeah.
I'm excited for everything, man. Watching all the people. For those of you that don't know, we are both going to the Pro-Am Championship in Appleton, Wisconsin, and this year, November.
That's right.
So that's what a lot of these raffles and stuff that we're doing will go towards, especially the show. The show is kind of our way of helping get us out there more for our sponsors and for anybody else that has questions or is wanting to learn about axe throwing. So that's kind of why we came here to do this show, and that's what this show is really all about. I mean, it was kind of a whirlwind, just out on the limb. Hey, let's do this. I think it'd be a great idea, and here we are.
Yeah. Now that brings me to the idea of sponsorship inside this sport. So this is a sport that obviously is still in its infancy. It's still just getting started, blooming. And so there's not a lot of necessary funds in the sport for the thrower if you're trying to travel a lot. So it is important for you when you're trying to look out for sponsorships. And the good part is for us, we do travel a lot. So we're always looking for people who, look, we go from state to state and we take a name everywhere we go. And we try to do our best to comport ourselves to be brand ambassadors, even when we didn't have a brand or don't have a brand. But it makes you wonder, though, how do so many people get a chance to travel as much as they do without the sponsorships? Because, man, that stuff gets pricey. I think I probably put, $1,000 into traveling every time we go for a 2 or 3 day weekend.
If not, just about. I mean, we looked at going to the one in, it was in Michigan, and it would have been, I think when we got done with flight, hotel,
Yeah, that was supposed to last.
And the actual tournament, like registering, it was, I think we were at like right at 1,100, and then we were like had to get a rental car or Uber, and so it was like, and it's just.
And then there's some of the better places to go. You know, I like when you're going to Ohio, or if you're going out to South Dakota, those are places you want to go out and go see some stuff and actually get a chance to enjoy it. And for us, coming from North Carolina, trying to get out there and travel, you know, when you're leaving airports that may not necessarily have a lot of flight options, you know, it gets very pricey. And so, but, you know, we love the sport enough that we want to get out there and go see more and see some of these top throwers that are out there and spread the name, right?
Yes.
Spread the name of anybody that we're going out there and enjoying ourselves at the same time. But I've seen people who have what is an RV that good out there, man. That's pricey too.
That's fuel wise, yes. But
God.
You think about it though. I guess if you had 4 or 5 people that rode in it and you all slept in it, and they all pitched in, you're looking at.
But unless that RV is paid off, that monthly fee on that thing, just holding it, whew, that's a mobile home.
It is. It is.
Golly.
I mean, you know, that's one thing that most people that do travel and most people that you see traveling a lot are either venue owners, axe makers, and or have just some sort of side business to help them proceed through the axe journey. Like, you know, that you have anybody that can get a sponsor, and if you get a good one, like say you got Walmart or Lowe's, you know, they would give you enough and you'd be able to go to many tournaments all in a year. But then that's my thing that always concerns me is trying to find ones that could continue, that are ones that'll be around for 3, 4, 5 years, which Walmart and Lowe's are, but are they going to continue to sponsor you or what you're doing for a long period of time?
Yeah, and obviously, you know, there has to be something in it for the sponsor.
Yes.
So if they start to see brand recognition, they start to see their name come back, I'm sure they'll want to continue to sponsor when they can feel the benefit to it.
Yes.
So that's always the challenge, is trying to make sure you're being a brand ambassador for whatever it is, whether it be an axe maker, a venue, a store. You're always trying to do the best you can to make sure you're not just out there saying, hey, I wore the patch, but you're actually going out there and marketing and saying, hey, come and look at Sue's Flower Shop, or whatever the case is.
Definitely.
Yeah. And speaking of axe makers, I do want to, I know it's a little solemn to talk about, but shout out to Brian Cox, his family. They are going through a little situation right now. I hate to diminish it and call it little, but apparently his daughter's missing. So if you guys know them or know of her, please be on the lookout to help them get her back home safely.
Yes, definitely keep them in your prayers and in your thoughts.
Absolutely.
It's definitely not easy.
Absolutely. But to go back to just the sponsorship, I wonder sometimes too, is it harder to keep the passion to keep going as the rules are changing in this sport? Because I've seen some people get a little frustrated because they're kind of okay with the 15-foot line. But as we're getting closer to that time, you can see more and more people.
So I've noticed, you know me, I always am on Facebook and looking at posts and the, discussion page. And I've seen quite a few posts of some pros that have said they're going to stay amateur just so they don't have to do the 15-foot.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me to think that, because like you and I, we want to reach pro status. But then, like, really looking at it, like they said, what's the benefit from it? Because then you have multiple things that you'll have to do in your league venue, which I got a little bit of clarification on today. You don't have to have separate leagues where we thought you would have to have a pro league and then a amateur league. You can throw against them in local
but that's
ones.
what I thought it was from the start. Is this the same? But if you're declaring pro, you have to throw with the pro rules.
Yes, you
even
do.
in the amateur tournament, which actually is not favorable to the pro.
So when it comes to tournaments and stuff, it's different. You won't be able to throw with amateurs.
Right.
You'll have to
what
throw
about
all
the league?
pro. At your local venues and leagues, you will be able to throw pro if you want, and then the person next to you can throw amateur, but you have to go off the pro rule set.
Right, and that's why I'm saying it's not advantageous to the pro, because you've increased the level of difficulty immensely with that extra 3 feet throwing from and then you're trying to hit these different targets. So their numbers are going to be down. Whereas you've got somebody like us who's on the fringe of being pro.
Yep.
Our numbers will look inflated compared to them. And then now whenever you're finishing up your league, it looks like the pro sucked.
Right.
He finished 8th, 9th in your league, when in reality he's probably the better player, and the numbers don't bear it out.
Yeah, so I think what they should do is have basically kind of how they do now, a pro tournament and an amateur tournament. And if you declare amateur and you stay there, then you throw with the rest of the amateurs. If you declare pro, then you throw with the pros, and your scores are separated based off that. So like on the Waddle leaderboard, they would have like a pro section and then an amateur section.
Yeah, see, the downside to that for me is I don't believe you have enough people in the pro section to justify that.
I think you would.
No,
I think you'd be.
I'm looking at our local league.
At our local league, it'd be probably me and you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Which is fine. Then we would have our two stats. The league would still count. I need to turn off my notifications. Pretty sure my son's FaceTiming me.
Oh.
And I hope it don't mess up the stream. I don't think it does. You got your...
Yeah, it's still going.
Okay, cool. Sorry, buddy. I'll call you later. But yeah, I see what you're saying, but I think that as long as you have it separated somehow, it'll be all right. But I feel like if you try, like you said, if you keep it in there, it will look ridiculous, because you might have somebody like you throw a 58 and then I'll throw a 42, but I'm throwing pro level, so it's like, you can't really add them together.
Yeah.
Listen to this crazy thing. So for knives, I know you're not into knives.
No, I like watching it though.
Yeah. So for your scoring, I guess, or placement, you get a placement score, I guess is what it's called, and they do it based off your average and your highest score, and they add them together.
What?
Yes. So like Lucas, I heard him talking about it today, and he said that if you have a 61 average and 61 is a high score and you average a 50, your overall knife score would be whatever them added up is. Not good at math, but that would be your score. And then so there's some people out there that have like 48s and 49s, but rank higher than the people with 50 and 52 averages because their high scores are higher.
Right. Which means in that case, it's almost like you're punishing consistency.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn that off.
I don't even know how to.
You might have to do that on your phone.
Yeah.
Like in the future, we just turn off. You know what I mean? Put it on.
Do not disturb.
Do not disturb. Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of which, let me put mine on silent. So,
Sorry about that, y'all.
yeah, so to me, what I would like to have seen was treat the 15-foot line like a three-pointer. Everybody plays on the same level, and if you need that extra point, you're welcome to back up to the 15-foot line and make the attempt from 15 foot. So let's say, for instance, the 64 is still the highest you can get, right? So let's keep it that way. But let's say I got a 56 going in to throw 8, and I'm down by 2. I can step back to the 15-foot line and then throw it, and then now that 6 becomes a 7.
Oof.
You see what I mean? So
Right.
now we've actually changed the game a little bit. I took the risk by stepping backwards. And yes, it's not the same as a kill shot, but it does add an extra element.
That'd still be kind of hard to get a perfect, because I think then your score would go up a little bit.
Not really, because what happens is, let's say if you're throwing from the 12-foot line, 64 is the best you can get.
Yeah.
But if you step back to the 15 and you throw it, unfortunately it maxes out. That's all you can do. But if you're below the line, you know what I mean, you can come back.
That's true.
And then that way it's a three-point line. So you can still cap it at 64
Right.
and just give options and say, okay, if you're below a 64, below perfect, you can step back beyond that line and get yourself back up to where you want to be. And it's almost, and it says, okay, the game ain't over yet.
Yeah.
A 3-point lead, 4-point lead ain't over yet. I'm going to step all the way back.
That would be very interesting.
And get an extra point because I went from essentially the 3-point line.
Right.
So now an 8 is a 9.
That'd be pretty cool if they just did that.
A 5 is a 6.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
A 3 is a 4.
Right.
And then so now you step back, and whatever you hit, it just moved it up by 1 point, with the maximum score being a 64.
What if you hit a kill shot from back there, though?
Then it's worth 9. And again, the maximum score would be 64. So let's say I went back, I'm at a 63, right? Or I'm on pace to get a 63 where I'm at, right?
Yeah.
If I throw and hit a kill shot at this moment,
That'd get you a 64.
That would get, if I was, let's say again, right, and it would get me to 64.
Yeah.
And
then technically, that wouldn't really be a perfect,
it's still a perfect score.
Still a perfect score, but not a
Hey, I don't care about
true.
You got a 64, you got a 64.
Right.
But I'm just saying you step back and it adds an element to it, because having those other dots and then there being a 3/4 inside of it, what's the likelihood somebody's going to be throwing 64s like that anyway?
I think it'll be a lot. I think it'll be just as many as there is now.
You think so?
I don't think it'll be as easily repeatable, but I do think there'll be quite a few people that can.
But the fact that it's not easily repeatable is the option, is the goal, isn't it?
That is the goal, I think.
Because you don't want somebody who's throwing 4 and 5 and 6 perfect games in the same marathon. And I think with the smaller dots, I don't believe you're going to do that, especially because you're talking about a 3/4 inch dot in the kill shots at the bottom.
Yep.
4 extra ones on the side. Just like what happened. Let's look at what happened when they had the big dot and moved to the current system.
Yeah.
The scores weren't as inflated as they were. They went down. And then obviously the skill level increased and caused people to get them back up to where they were before. But you still don't see the same amount of bullseyes you did before.
No.
And then once the skill level seems to catch up, now the 3-point line is no longer a 3-point line. It's what we're talking about now. It's the new line.
That's true. It's still in the works. We'll see.
No, it's not in the works. They're saying it's coming, baby.
It's coming, but because I have seen they've played mock tournaments with it and mock marathons, and everybody that has done those have seemed to love it.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I just don't like it is because of the mixed match whenever I'm in my local league, because for me, there's no benefit to go pro when I'm in a league of 15 people and only 13 of them are staying in the amateur.
Right.
Now it's just basically just me and you. We could have came in here and just done a one-on-one then, if that's the case.
And you still would play against them, and you still have to be challenged. But it wouldn't. I'm all for it because it's going to make you have to step up even more. Like,
I got it, but again, it's still not. I don't believe it's advantageous because I look at some of the people that we've played against and play against. They're better than us.
Yeah.
Let's put it like that. They're better than us. And then now putting them back to the 15-foot line, it drastically changes the game.
Yeah, because now we could be better than them.
Yeah, but are we though?
Yeah,
no,
technically,
because I'm throwing from 3 feet closer, and as a result, if I get 58 and he gets a 52, if
you don't throw from the 15-foot, then you're not better. But if you throw with them from the 15-foot and you beat them, then you're better.
That's my point. If I'm staying in the amateurs, and I'm assuming calling myself the amateur at that point, and they drop back to the 15, like that is it really fair? Can I really say I was better than them? Should I really count my loss or my win as a win and their loss as a loss whenever you're playing in 2 different games?
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Like I said,
but again, if you do that, you won't at a tournament and marathon. It won't be like that.
I got it. But the problem is
your home league. From everything I've seen, is your home league is your practice. That is where you put in your practice.
But my home league gets registered on the Waddle page, and it shows everywhere, and so it's skewered.
Yeah,
it skewers the numbers drastically because, and again, like you said, unless somebody's going to create 2 separate polls, one for the amateur and one for the pros,
right?
It doesn't seem right. And then even let's say you put me in the pros, I went 0 for 28 because I'm throwing for 15 feet. You see what I mean?
Well, that's where the strategy comes in. You got to go, here's what I think's going to happen with it. I think 90% of people on 1 through 5 are going to go up or down, technically, now that it's a bottom one, and they're going to hit. So 1 through 5, you're looking at a 30. Or more. Well, technically more, because let's see, 6 and 6.
You could get a 32.
32, yeah. So you'd have a 32 going into your 15. So now you have 30. Well, you won't. Yeah. Then you'd have 32 points to make up to get your 64. But how many people do we know, even in local leagues or in,
Is it 32?
No, I didn't think so.
It was 34.
Yes, because you'd have 2 less points because of the 2 kills, which would be 8 and 8 instead of 6-6.
Right.
So yeah, so 34. But still, how many people in any league is going to throw from 12 foot a 34 on 1 through 5?
I got it. But let's
All right, then we back up.
and that's when the game completely changes.
Yes and no, because, all right, we look at it. Some people hit, right? Okay, so they hit 2. 9 and 10, they hit. That cancels out. Now it's basically they're 1 through 5. How good did they do?
Right.
But they got, they might have thrown a 5 or a 6 in there. Granted. All right, now you come back to the 15. You might throw 1-4.
So let me ask you a question.
You know what I feel like it's going to even out. I feel like it's really going to even, and you're not going to see as much skewedness.
So I tell you what. How about you stand at the 15-foot line, I stand at the 12-foot line, and then you tell me how many times you can hit the bullseye, and compared to me at the 12, and tell me that and just 5 throws, and tell me that it's not going to be a humongous difference.
Right now, it'll be bad because I haven't practiced it that much. But I feel like once you get the practice in, because my thing is, we're hitting bulls with big axe from that distance.
Yeah, but it's a big axe. It's also a much larger blade.
It is, but still, it's.
And then what is the consistency that we're actually hitting with that? We're getting 4s and everything.
We are, yeah,
so,
we are. But
so imagine this: if I gave you 10 throws with the big axe,
yeah,
and I get 10 throws with the hatchet, do you think you're going to score as high as I'm going to score?
Ooh,
Hell no.
I think it'd be close.
Nah. Hell no.
All right,
Put
look.
that to the test.
Yeah, all right. Well, think about this. In 5 throws, how many people are getting 32s with big axe?
Okay.
Right. So if they can get it in 5, why can't they do another 532? That's 64.
I mean, yeah, I guess it could happen.
Granted, like you said, you are using a bigger blade, so it is gonna, you are gonna give some more points because of big axe. But I feel like it won't be as far out as you think. It'll be. I mean, it will definitely spread the board out, and some people that like to talk like, oh, your average was this. Well, you threw at 12, I threw at 15.
Yeah.
So it is gonna. That's why I said I feel like the Waddle leaderboard, they need to break it down. That way, it doesn't look like that. Because like our worst player in our local league could end up being the best because we're throwing from 15.
Yeah.
Which I see what you're saying.
Right.
That's where they need to separate. Even if there's a Waddle, if Waddle comes up with a page, or for the venue has it split like pro, amateur, and then you have 1 through 5 or one,
because
however.
I want to know how that comes out for prizes, because my understanding is whether it be league or marathon, that the minimum prize is either a trophy or some money. Right?
Yep.
So imagine you've got, I don't know, call it 2 or 3 people throwing pro. Everybody else is throwing amateur. Do you declare 2 different winners and give away 2 different prizes?
For that, I don't think so. Because I think the 2 that throw pro would have to then throw amateur in order for it to count.
But you can't. That's the point. Once you go pro, you're not supposed to throw amateur anymore.
Right. Well, then at that point, well, no. So I think you can. You right. You can throw amateur, but it doesn't count. Like you don't get no circuit points or nothing. So you still could win whatever marathon you're throwing
So you're
in.
telling me you think I want to sit here and spend all my time wasting my time just so I can say I won the local? Part of the reason that we do what we do is so we can get those circuit points.
Right.
So you telling me that now?
Well, then that's your fault. You need to pick a better tournament.
But what I'm saying is that means once again you punished the pro, because in order for him to even be fun and competitive, he has to go to the amateur. You were already amateur, so you're going to get your points, but he doesn't get his.
Right. That's true. I didn't really think about that aspect of it either. That's true. I mean, that does kind of put a disadvantage to the pro.
every step of the way.
Unless they have.
I just don't think there's enough money and enough participation to keep making distinctions between pro and amateur, because it's just not. It's not enough participation yet. It's just not enough involvement.
Right.
You don't have enough people where you can say I have a legitimate pro league. Yeah, you got the pro league series, but how many events do they host in comparison to say regular events?
Right, and they're working on changing that. The thing for them right now is trying to find a venue, and people aren't
so
like
until
venues
you
aren't.
Do it. Why would you make this distinction early? You're actually going to push people out of your sport. If you're talking about pros, because that means everybody's going to just maintain the amateur status. Chances are, if it made sense to me, outside of say the Lucas Johnsons and the Tyler Flynn's, everybody else is going to do what? Stay amateur until you told that you got to go pro because you're scoring so well.
Well, yeah.
And so you think about it. At this point, the 15-foot line is going to go out because everybody's going to say, "Forget it. I'm an amateur. I'm an amateur." And then I'm sure there's going to be a few people that's going to declare pro from the start. But
what if they?
What's the ratio?
Right. What if they did double circuit points? So if you declared pro and threw from the 15 with amateurs, and you beat them with them all throwing at 12.
That means those people suck.
Well, yes, but say you're at a marathon and say, like you said, there was only 2 people that threw pro, or that were considered pro. Unfortunately, they would have to throw amateur. Well, instead of making them throw amateur, let them throw pro rules with the amateurs. If they get first or second or third, or whatever their score is, they get double circuit points.
I don't know. I think it's muddying the waters, and I think it's just making it into a sideshow as opposed to something that legitimizes the sport.
Right.
I look at bowling. Bowling has had 300 games since they went to being able to throw a 300 series.
Didn't Kevin Hart throw one in one of the celebrity games? Yeah.
You got amateurs that have always thrown the 300, but you don't see them changing how many pins are there.
No.
I'm saying you got to go back from 4 feet to throw it.
It's just like darts. Darts didn't either. Darts doesn't change.
So why are we getting so sideshow circusy with these? Again, if you change the target, I get it. But as far as changing the distance and everything else, and now I'm distinguishing between pro and amateur, I just feel like you're really going to make this into a circus shot. Yeah. And at this point, like the guy said, win a GoPro if you go pro. I got that one of the commenters said, win a GoPro if you go pro.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right. I agree, man. What if they just changed the game? Not the board, but instead of like darts. Darts started with 301, then they went to 501 because they noticed it was so easy. What if Waddle did that? What if they went, instead of 10 throws, it was, say, 12 or
hell no. The leagues I went to a marathon that started at 9:00. We didn't leave this month until 9:00.
That is true.
And those 2 extra throws add up. Plus,
they do.
Now, I do like the idea of saying get 10 warm-ups, right? Do your 10 warm-ups, especially at larger venues, because you don't get a handful of people that just get stuck on the boards.
Yeah.
You do the 10 and go in. Now, doing that at the Pro League Series, I really enjoyed that. I thought it made perfect sense. You get to lock in on the target that you're starting with, and then you go from there.
Right.
And then you still get your one for fun in between. And so I'm not against that for sure. But I really do believe that this 15-foot line, again, either go all in with the 15-foot line or don't do it at all, because switching back and forth or saying that you're going to have pros do it, not amateurs, I think is really going to muddy the waters, because you don't have enough pros to carry the sport.
True.
And then you're going to have a bunch of pros that are going to say, man, I would like to compete more. I want to participate more.
Right.
I would actually have to have true pro venues.
Yeah.
And pro venues are more expensive. And this sport doesn't have enough money in it, because you'll get people who say, look, it's a $300 buy-in, and you give me a measly trophy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right. And I understand for the venues, they're trying to make their money too, because this costs for them too.
Yeah.
So I really believe they need to go all in with the 15-foot or get rid of the 15-foot. I know IATF has the 15 throws. They do. You're right. They have 15 throws.
Right.
Have you ever been to an IATF league? It is all night long. They last forever, and they're unorganized as far as I'm concerned. Because I've been in some
the one you went to.
Yeah, the one I went
Some
to.
I've seen, but they do a playoff too, though.
Yeah.
Which is like multiple weekends, and it's people all over.
That's right. And so
which would be really cool if we did as well.
But again, look at the cost to do it. It's cost prohibitive. If I do a IATF style tournament where I've got 15 throws, by the way, even in IATF, they don't lengthen the line for the pro versus the amateur, right? They
just have the premier and regular.
It's right. So it's premier or regular, right? And then, but the whole league is premier, or the whole league is right
the
from
whole
the
tournament,
start.
yeah.
And so it is what it is. But again, they drag out their tournaments. And if we drug out our tournaments, imagine every tournament or every marathon you go to, you're there for 2 or 3 days. You know how much money that is, especially with not enough payout to come back.
They do it like throughout the week, though. Like they do it on Saturdays, so it's like you do it one Saturday, and then you come next Saturday, do another, then next Saturday. From what I understood, but I'm not 100% sure either on that. But that's still.
Yeah, and you're right. The clutch in ITF is still bigger than the clutch. I mean, the kill shot for us.
Did we get a comment?
Yeah, it's Terrell. It's he's talking, and shout out to Burger.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do like IATF. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a hater of IATF. I have enjoyed it, but when we're talking about what Waddle is and what IATF is, I feel like we're talking about apples to oranges in that case, because you're going to drag the sport out. It's already does cost you an arm and a leg to go in some of these tournaments.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about just the entry fee. The entry fee is what it is. But it's the cost to live there, to stay there.
Yeah.
If I try to go from North Carolina to go to, say, Maryland, right? Okay, sure, I drive there in a day, I get there.
Yeah.
But I got to stay all weekend just to throw.
Yeah.
And hotels in that area are not cheap.
No, they're not. That is true. How's that an emoji thing?
Oh, got it.
Like sending it on the screen, playing around with it. But yeah, that is true. I didn't, I don't know. That is, that's.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not against the 15-foot. I just, again, say either go all in with it or leave it alone.
Yeah,
or
definitely.
Or create it, like I said, a 3-point shot kind of thing, where, again, I have less than a 64. Therefore, I'm incentivized to step back beyond this line and add an extra point to whatever it is that I hit.
Yeah.
Knowing that I would still max out at the 64.
Max out at it, yeah.
Huh. And I think that could actually work, and it gives you some transition into that line, and then possibly you start looking at it saying, okay, well, maybe we increase what the max score is,
right,
from 64 to say 70,
or whatever,
whatever that number is, and I think that would be some kind of incentive to play with.
Yeah,
because then now you've added an extra element of skill to the game, just like the NBA adding a 3-point line versus no
3-point line.
Right.
Yeah.
So absolutely, and because what happened in the NBA, it clogged up the lane. Nobody was playing defense beyond the perimeter. They stretched it out. They start hitting a couple of those threes. As time went on, it evolved into what it is today.
Right.
And now you spread the floor. It's more scoring, and everybody goes, "It ain't what it used to be." Pow! You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Right. So I think there's ways to incorporate the 15-foot. I just feel like the current way, I don't know. I just feel like it just.
I think we need to try to find a mock tournament or marathon and just do it and see what it would be like.
We could do that right here.
I mean, we could
just figure it out one day and just say, okay. Again, I think the scores probably won't be terrible from that, but I think when you're mixing and matching, that's when I have the issue, because you take again somebody like me who's on the fringe of pro,
already throwing like a 40 or 54, 55, and then they stay at a 55.
I'm consistent,
and then I go to 15 and throw a 42 or 43.
Right, you don't stand a chance.
I see your point, and I see what you're saying.
Because guys that I know I play against regularly that average of 56, 57. I'm at a 54. If they back up to that 15-foot line, I know they're good, but they ain't good enough to compete to cross that line from there, and then you really get a drop off.
Right.
And then, like you said, like what we talked about before, the target points look a little weird. The league scores look weird.
Right.
You don't know who's really the best.
The
of the
best.
group.
Yeah.
It's just I just feel like
And then how does that work out for tournament too? Like week 8.
That's what I'm saying. Like
No,
what do
that's-
you do at the end to say you win your local league? It does
Throw it
not
12.
right. It does not incentivize anybody to
Which-
be a pro.
You know, Waddle's kind of. They only care about week 1 through 7 anyway. Which we found that out, but
When's your tournament, Lacey? You said in September. September what?
he got a mock one.
No, he's got an actual tournament they got coming up at Krabby Axe in Maryland.
Oh, in Maryland. Nice. Okay. I want to go to New Jersey Hack's house too,
Yeah.
because that's where that jersey he had on at the Pro-Am, and the guy that I threw against, Hoovmeyer, I think it was. All the ones with the girls all black. Yeah. That's the New Jersey Axe house. Their venue looks really cool.
He said September 16th. So yeah, we definitely have to look into that because I know that's the first day of the actual new season.
It is.
So it's definitely something to consider. Hey, shout out to the Krabby Axe for anybody that's watching this. If you're ever up in that Maryland area or just planning to travel and you want to do something, go check those guys out. Now I'm gonna let you know now. You jump on the burger, you might get bit. But I'm telling you, that boy can play.
Is that where he throws out of?
Oh,
I thought he was at a Jersey Axe house too.
Let's see, 3 days, big axe, knives, and what did you say? And duels. Yep.
So no hatchet.
You know, I realize I think I've been spelling duels wrong this whole time.
How'd you spell it?
I've been saying DUALS. Isn't that how you do it?
Is that how you spell it?
I don't know, because he just spelled it DUELS, and now I'm questioning it now. Like, it's one of them American and European. Now I gotta look this up.
That's where I think, like, when we do get a sponsor, one cool one to go to would be overseas, like Canada or anywhere
I like
else.
to go to Canada.
Canada would be good. I wouldn't mind seeing Lucas's venue and seeing Lucas, Odell, and a couple other of them guys that are up there.
Yeah. You know, I just looked at the video feed. I am sitting here looking like somebody's auntie with my legs spread. Oh my God, girl, let me tell you.
Yeah, oh God.
I just noticed that.
Yes.
Like somebody's auntie in the living room, like, girl, you know, hell no. They can change that rule.
That's how you sound too.
That's how I felt, you know. Look, I'm just saying. Like I said, I'm very passionate about this sport. I really love it. Obviously, I'm not going to just run away. I'm going to give it a shot.
Yeah.
It's all conceptual. And I can't honestly say it doesn't work until I've tried it. But I would have loved for us to, I don't know, took actual polls of people and actually had conversations, forums where you can actually hear people talk, not just what they type. Because when you've got that typing, there's a lot lost in translation.
Yes,
And so I really believe there should have been more opportunity to actually hear people.
Right.
And when you're going to those pro leagues, do a session where you sit down and talk about, hey guys,
yeah.
what do you think about it? Yes, you're going to have some people for it. You're going to have some people against it. But I also think you're going to have a well-rounded conversation where you're going to have people who really point out things, what we're talking about right now,
Right.
where it says, wait a minute, do I have enough local participation to support a pro or
Yeah.
to support an amateur?
Yeah.
And then is there enough money in the sport to support two separate sides of the house on travel and everything else? Because there's really not. There's plenty of times we go to a venue we can drive to the same day.
Yeah.
And you don't feel like you got the money that you put into the sport
Right.
out of it.
Definitely. Yeah.
You know, you spend all day there on a local league. You win your marathon, and sometimes you don't get paid for the marathon. You don't get paid until you get to the tournament. And then when
That's
you get to
true.
the tournament, the money you got many times just equals up to the entry fee that you put in.
Yeah.
So it's like, what in the world? And
I didn't even think about that.
so that's very difficult. And I understand the axe houses have to be able to make some money because these boards are not cheap. You're talking about what, 15 to 20 some bucks per board, depending upon who they bought it from and where you live at. And that's not cheap. And this is a sport that, again, we want to see it grow and thrive, but at what cost? How does it get out of that infancy stage and get to where it can be darts, where it can be the hacky sack, and where it can be what's the one that
hacky sack?
Yeah, man, hacky sack used to be a thing. Yeah, I know.
You did like a throw. I thought you were talking cornhole.
Cornhole, that was the thing. The hacky sack is a thing. Yeah, but I meant to say cornhole.
Yeah, hacky sack's where you kick a little ball.
And then I was thinking, and I did a little foot thing.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what?
But I meant to say like cornhole.
Cornhole is blowing up.
But cornhole is also not as, how can you say that? It doesn't cost the venue as much. Because,
Oh, no, not at all.
Because once they bought the items,
They're good. And
That's
most of the time, they don't even have, like, I mean, they'll have bags, but most people that throw their own anyway.
right?
So
So they get them
they just
regulated.
get
see what they-
boards and that's
right,
it.
Right. So imagine that.
I mean, heck, we have 7 lanes here. You times that by just say $10. That's, well, yeah, 7 lanes with 5 boards. So that's 35, right? No. 7 times 5, 35. Yeah, 35. So that's 35 boards at $10 a piece. That's $350 just for one side for us.
and that's assuming it's $10. But I know we pay somewhere around 17 or
Yeah,
more
right. That's what I'm saying.
For our
Where-
so it's even more than that.
350 for cornhole, you're looking at least, depending on where you get the boards or if you make them yourself, you could probably get 4 sets of boards.
Yes, but you keep
5
them.
sets of boards. Right, that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah,
they
but you
don't
don't
they
have
don't
to
go
replace
bad,
them.
right?
Yeah, they don't
So
go
the
bad.
same money for like one use of axe boards is a lifetime for cornhole. I mean, eventually they'll have to redo board, like get new ones
it
and
makes you
upgrade,
wonder,
but
do they need to start going to the digital target? And
feel-
that's costly too for upfront costs for the venue.
it is, but you still would have to have wood to throw at.
Yeah, something.
Granted, I mean, you could use a different type of wood, but
Yeah, but if you wind up getting a bad board and bang falls off,
I think it counts. Most of them count where it hits.
word.
Yeah, so like if you hit just wherever it hits, if it's in that zone and it senses it, it'll count it. It doesn't have to stick.
I like it. All right. In that case, we getting up with pine boards around
Right,
here. We
yeah.
got hammers.
Right, yeah.
Got the hammer throw.
I don't really know a way to make it less cost effective, other than Waddle going out.
More cost.
Or more, yeah, right. Sorry, more cost effective. Other than Waddle going out and trying to get more sponsors.
Yeah,
Because if you look, Waddle itself has Pabst, PBR, and then Pabst Blue Ribbon, and that's really the only one I really see.
yeah, and so
I mean, they got a couple more, but there's not that many. Like, you know, you look at cornhole, they got Bush's Baked Beans. I mean, they got a list of sponsors that are putting money into it because there's so much on TV and stuff, which I think is where we're kind of getting to with this sport. But, you know, same with darts, same with bowling. There is so many company sponsors that are putting money into the sport, where we don't have really many companies or
coffee company.
much putting in to Waddle that I know of. You know, from what I've seen, you know, I don't see, you know, Waddle having like, hey, you know, a main league, like a main board provider.
Right.
I know Elm City does a lot for like the Pro League series. Elm City boards, they do a lot for the Pro League series and some venues,
Where
but
we get our boards from, you know.
Morningwood Lumber Company.
Shout out to Morningwood Lumber Company.
Yes,
you know?
they're out of Ohio, I believe, or
Alright.
somewhere. I just know the name of it, but you know, like, where do they? You know, you look at cornhole tournaments or even dart tournaments. These sponsors have put money into areas for these people to play, especially ESPN. Like on ESPN, they pay ESPN obviously to have their ads ran, but then they also are pay for the targets for the people and stuff. Where like we don't have that.
And I do believe that the intention behind moving the line is to get us there.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think it's just a little bit short-sighted in execution.
I think we could have went with the new board style and stayed at 12.
Yeah, at least for a season. And play with the 15-foot line as a, like I said before, like a 3-point line kind of thing until it becomes a part of the sport.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you could have still gotten it in. You wouldn't have to distinguish pro versus amateur. You would have been able to keep it in there, and your scores would still elevate you to pro status, amateur status, and still have the 15-foot incorporated.
Right.
And guess what? The amateur, the guy that's a true amateur who's averaging in the 40s, is probably not going to throw for 15 anyway.
No.
And then, you know what I mean? So, and then that guy who's the top guy, okay, he misses, he might take the shot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because, you know, if you look at it, Waddle gets their money from venues, one, you know, for hosting, whatever, being affiliated with Waddle, and then two, I guess PBR and whoever their other main sponsor is.
Yeah, and
they get money from them, but other than that, Waddle makes most of its money from selling axes.
maybe. I mean,
I feel like, because if you look at it,
I don't know if it's from that or if it's the fees, because every time they create a tournament, you got to pay for that.
Right.
Every time there's a league, you got to pay for that. So
Yep.
I think they're getting money from that, but I don't want to sit here and count the water organization's money.
Yeah, no.
Because I don't know how they go about that.
I don't either.
What I am saying is, as far as the thrower, the athlete, the person that is trying to invest into this thing, yes, we're putting money into the sport. You're right. It was spending hundreds of dollars in access,
Yeah.
because it is a leisure sport, and we're trying to turn it into something special. And so, again, I just hate to see us turn into a circus act, and then there's a lot of, I don't know, it's just no real continuity as far as what we're trying to do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, man, could you have done some mock tournaments before you said we got to do this now?
Right.
I understand you're trying to be proactive, but proactive would have been saying, let's try it in a Pro League Series tournament.
Yeah.
Let's try it in a season, with that before,
Yep.
we do it.
let's
And
try a
see what the
couple
options are.
tournaments and see. Yeah.
Right, before.
See what scores are, see what it looks like,
Or
see
do
how
what
it
they did
feels.
some years back. They waited to the Worlds and said, hey, for the purposes of, we're going to change the route right here, right now. That would
That's
be
crazy. Could you imagine getting to that point,
then
being
you
on
gotta throw a
TV,
15
and then
foot.
you've got to throw a 15-foot with a small bullseye, a small kill shot?
And why
like,
wouldn't they do that? Because they know it's embarrassing and you would have been missing. And then, so for those same reasons why you wouldn't have introduced it in, why are you doing it now?
now, yeah, that's true. That's a good point. I did not really think about
So
that.
for those same reasons, because you wouldn't want to see on live TV some guy and it falls off, right?
Right, yeah.
So again, why would you do it now? Why would you do it now?
That's true.
Why take that risk? Keep it where it's
One
at.
thing I will say that I like was the Commissioner's Cup.
Yeah.
The introduction of
Yeah.
those new games, the the skills
those
and
were
stuff.
cool now. I'm not gonna lie,
That
those
would
were
be, that is, I think, what'll make this sport go over.
I got it. But,
Get rid of
but
the
even
15-foot
when-
rule.
but
Get
even
rid
when
of
you
all
saw
that.
Those, what did they feel like? They felt like these weird competition games. It didn't feel like it was a league. It felt like this, just thing you came together for, like just little trick shots, and that's what it felt like. It doesn't feel like something I could do every day and that I could do. It was just cool to watch in the moment.
It was, yeah. But
And-
what if it was something that they implemented?
Again, and then now you're really bogging the sport down because it's too much. It's too much variety.
yeah.
Because at this point it goes, what are we doing today?
True.
So, again, the Commissioner's Cup, I think, is a great one-off, a great to say, oh man, let's do this weird, quirky thing. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, that's cool. It's like a skills challenge, like you would see at the
Right.
Pro Bowl or
Yeah.
the NBA,
NBA, MLB,
right. So exactly,
NHL.
yeah, right. Well, we do
Yeah.
the home run derby, right? You
Yeah.
don't see them making that the actual league.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just something that they do. So I think Commissioner's Cup is great as it is, but again, my concern.
I think they need more.
No, I think this is good because it's.
No, I'm saying like more televised events, like the Commissioner's Cup and
Oh, yeah,
other
yeah.
things like that to help, one, just to bring the name out more.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know how many people obviously watched it. I know I missed it because I fell asleep. I was in bed and was like, yo, I meant to watch it. But, just that alone, it probably got 500 people to go to an axe venue or to be like, yo, axe throwing, that's a thing? So like, I know the money was probably crazy, obviously, but again, like, just to get the name out there, to have people see it, that builds it. And, that's what we're trying to do here in Clayton, is
again,
get the
that's
name
why I
out.
don't mind saying the Commissioner's Cup for what it is.
Right.
Just like the home run derby brings in more interested eyes for baseball.
Yep.
The slam dunk contest for basketball.
Yep.
And, but when do people really watch that sport during the playoffs? Right.
Yeah, of course.
That's when they come.
That's
to
what
it. And at what point do you look at and say, all right, it's the playoffs. The 3-point line is now half court.
Yeah.
What
What if Waddle, or what if they did that? So they did playoffs. So you have a season. You get rid of so you basically. All right. So you have your 4 seasons.
Okay.
You turn them all into one, and you basically throw all year, right?
Ooh, that's a long.
Right. Well, you take your breaks and stuff, obviously, but it would be just like MLB or basketball, right? And then starting December or November, right? Playoffs start. Then that's where you go. Basically, you play your local league. The winners from those move and play regionals. And then almost like the Little League World Series.
I see what you mean. Yeah,
right.
I see what you mean.
Wouldn't that be pretty cool? And then like you keep moving to different venues.
Right. So you're saying, okay, we got Epic in Clayton versus Epic in Raleigh. They went through the bracket here.
Yes.
And then their winner took out Ironclad. And then
and then you just keep going.
Yeah, and then you win your state. Now your state is there.
Because I know if I'm
like you said, Little League World Series.
Right. Yeah.
That would be interesting.
And if I'm not mistaken, they used to do a regional because I don't know if you're still in here, Burger, but I'm pretty sure you were runner-up one year. I think I heard you say that in one of the or at the Pro League Series tournament. I'm not mistaken, but he actually won it. I think. I don't remember, but I do think they said they had a regional tournament.
That would be dope, and I think it also would stop the same core group from winning because literally some of them coming out of the same state.
Venue, yeah,
same state. So
same state, same venue, like
Little League World Series,
right? And then you would have basically your two best that have went through and won it all.
He said he won last year.
Yeah, see, so I thought they had a regional one, but so then
I think we're in the Atlantic Division. I think.
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. That's a good idea,
right? That would be so.
That would be cool.
We might need to do that here and see if we can get other local venues to do it.
That would be cool.
Like North Carolina venues, like where
yes, and you can host that.
Like Ironclad, you get us
at Chapel Hill, or you go to the convention center, or
you find somewhere that is in the middle for everybody.
Yeah, whatever. Charlotte. As a matter of fact, you go to Charlotte.
Right. Yeah, which they have a lot of venues in Charlotte, but like you would take is it Iron Axe?
Yeah, whatever.
Society.
The name of those places.
Yeah, and we would all play one big tournament, and you'd represent your house. And like you play, and then the winner would be the North Carolina winner, and then they would represent North Carolina, and they would go play.
Okay,
states.
I can see that. So help me make sure I understand this correctly. So you would say, would you still do 3 seasons and then do the big one at the end?
Yes. That way you still would let your normal local players be able to play. Right. And then the ones that want to try to represent and go, because it's just like Little League. Like I used to coach Little League in Garner. We loved Little League. Yeah, right. We loved Little League, but we knew we weren't going to make it to that stage. We would come to the tournament and we'd always end up, 0-2 just because we didn't quite have the talent other places do.
Yeah, but some of those kids are recruiting too, though.
Right. But anyway, exactly. Definitely. But, so I feel like you could have your local side kind of, and if they even wanted to compete, they could. And then you could be like, what not really region, but you could be like, we're representing North Carolina. And then you, instead of taking your top 1, you could take your top 3 or top 4 or top 5. So, and then they would go play the other top 5s from, say, Maryland, New York, Texas, Tennessee, Ohio.
Okay. So go
then they play.
Make sure I'm understanding this correctly. This is how we could do this. So you got winter, spring, summer, and the summer.
Yep. Right? And then get rid of the fall or whatever it is.
Right. So let's say winter, spring, and summer.
Yep.
Right. Those would allow you, just like the winter and the spring, to be eligible for the Pro-Am, right?
Yep.
Or to be eligible for the World, so to speak, right? And then in the fall, in the fall, that league would allow you to qualify for essentially like the Little League World Series, and you win your venue, and then you just come out of that.
Yep.
Now you could have one big ass venue at the end. Yeah. Or just do 2 major seasons. That thing, because it could take a couple seasons.
That's going to take. That would take. I mean, that tournament would probably take a while because you got to think how many venues and stuff you would have.
Yeah, because you got to at least give enough time for each state to finish up.
Right, and that's where it would get a little.
But how
tricky.
does the Little League World Series do it? Because it's got to be like I would use the same timeline they use.
So they do basically. They start in the summer, and they do the All-Star tournament basically. And if you just keep winning, you keep moving on until you get to Williamsport. Well, they're in not the championship now, but soon. So I think the end of August, maybe early September.
Okay, then. So that will work out then. You literally do the winter and spring, And that would qualify you for the Pro-Am and the World, so to speak.
Yeah.
Or no, let's call it a Pro-Am, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe throw Ohio or some one of those in there. One of the majors will what we'll call it, right?
Yeah.
And then you start the season,
Yeah.
which would be starting in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Do your thing, and then start working through your local.
Working at venues.
Yeah. And if you want to continue to have your local house while your representative moves on to play in some stuff, you could.
Yeah. That would be.
Because that doesn't stop Summer League baseball from going just because the World Series is going on.
Yeah, no.
Winter ball still keeps going even though they
Same with the baseball, like the Classic, the World Baseball Classic. They play that while the season's pretty much going on.
Exactly. So I think we could do that. You do winter, spring. That qualified you for the Pro-Am championships and the, whatever else, another major we want to put in there.
Right.
And then when the Summer League starts, the winner of your Summer League will then have the opportunity to be entered into
to play other venues.
Right. The regionals, state regionals.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It would probably go.
State
you could probably
regional.
do so. It's for Little League. It's local. I think it's local, regional. We could look it up. There's steps, but it's so you basically do local, then regional, then states, and then after state, it's I want to say worlds basically.
We might be idiots, man, but I think we might be on to something, man.
I
think we might be on to something.
I have to create our own little thing here.
I think we might be on to something we can pitch to Waddle and say, look,
No. We keep this us.
I don't have enough money for this. Waddle, hey,
True.
man.
Yeah,
I'm
right?
just saying, allow me to be the brain trust. You see, at least that we pitched the idea. I don't think that we're on to anything negative, and you can still grow your sport.
I feel like that would grow
without
it
turning
crazy.
it into a sideshow or circus.
Right, that would grow it. I feel like that would grow it tremendously.
And I would say keep the new boards,
yeah,
and again add the 15-footer as the 3-point line.
you could, or you could just keep it at 12 and just stay how it is, and then basically at the end you'll see what state has the best thrower. Or I shouldn't say state, because then you'll get into where Canada will come in, so it'll be world. You'll see who the best
You really would
world
be the
thrower.
world championship.
Yeah, because you would have to play.
Or at least the North American championship, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Look, I'm just saying we could do that. I still think, because I know that they really like the idea of adding the 15-foot. That's why I keep going back to it. And saying,
of course.
Add it as an opportunity.
What if we type this up, send it to Ironclads, send it to Wake Forest, Epic, send it to Iron Axe Society in Concord. We send it to, I always forget how to say it. I mess it up.
No, wait. Why don't we do it this way? Type it up as something that we want to send to Waddle. Go to those venues, ask those guys, how do you feel about this idea? Yeah, you like it? Sign a petition that we're going to submit with the package to Waddle. That way we're not trying to.
Well, I was gonna say, what if we do the tournament ourselves first? If there's a venue big enough, like I know the one in Concord's huge. I forget the name of it, but there's one in Concord that's huge, and we kind of see what it would be like first.
I'm gonna let you guys know right now. I'm living La Vida Broca. I just feel a lot of finances coming out of my pocket right there. But I do like the idea of at least pitching it, see what we could do, and see how much adoption you will get. Because I don't have an issue going to Waddle and saying, Waddle, get behind it, or because they have the name. Because essentially I feel like if we try to do it ourselves, it would be almost creating a new league. And I'm not trying to pit another Axe league. I feel like IATF and Waddle is plenty of league enough.
Well, it wouldn't really.
I would like for them to say, hey, can you consider this structure? And then that would give you your mass adoption.
Right.
Because again, now you've got venues that are opening up, like a tribal Axe for Virginia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They can meet there. Or something that we could do, even if it's just for a temporary setup for the North Carolina regionals, and then South Carolina, and get all the states.
I wonder how much it would be to do the convention center, kind of what they're doing.
And then that would be the next conversation. Obviously, I don't believe this is something that would happen in the next calendar year, but that would have to be the conversation to say, okay, how much is it for the venue, right?
Yeah.
How much is it for the wood? How
Right.
much is it to pay the people to judge and everything else?
Yeah.
What is the upfront cost
To be able to
because then
do
that's
it.
the next thing that makes this sport very tough is the entry fee then. Because now is it a $300 entry fee? And if it is a $300 entry fee or $400 entry fee, what is the prize if you won your state? What is the prize if you then get to the regional? How does the
Right.
pot work from that
I
perspective?
feel like that'd be a pretty cool. Like you could do a belt, like one of them.
I got it. I'm just saying that
You
at
know,
some point,
plus a little cash if we
I
have
think
like
we
if
to
it
do
have
the
it.
cash aspect
But-
because with that much money, if I put $400 or $300 into a ticket,
I don't-
there better be some money coming out of this thing.
I don't know if it'll be that much.
I mean, it's already that way now. Whenever they do,
Well,
I know they're doing multiple events.
They're
when they
doing
do it.
multiple events,
But if
not
we're
just
talking-
hatchet. Because look at the Pro-Am in Appleton. That was only, what, 150? No. What was it?
I don't know what it was.
I think it was like 100. I think it was only 100.
I don't know.
I don't remember either,
and
but
I hate to give out a number and be
Yeah,
wrong.
right.
But that was for the amateur side. Remember, the pros
the
had to
pros
had to
did
pay a-
more,
right.
but that's because they're also doing all aspects.
But they also had to do all
right.
aspects.
But if we do this, we could have one for each division.
But I would say that
You could do the big axe, you could do duels, you
Yeah.
could do hatchet, you could do knives, and then you literally do the same thing just like they do worlds,
Yeah.
and like the pros do. You have your state knife winner, your state hatchet winner, your state duels winner, your state big axe
Yeah.
winner.
But again, like I said, I think that's going to be the next thing is to consider because I think participation is not going to be the problem.
Oh, man.
I believe at that point you just have to make it how, and then you really have to
Or-
incorporate some sponsorship
Yeah.
to offset the cost.
Yeah, right.
Again, even if it's $150 entry fee per event, that's
What
still
if-
a lot whenever somebody has to travel
Right.
and stay overnight.
What if we didn't even incorporate venues? What if we just made this a tournament, like Throw Ohio, and those, and then we incorporate like we just let other venues in other states know, say, hey, this is what we're doing in North Carolina to see who the best is in North Carolina. And anybody that is a North Carolina resident or throws at a North Carolina venue can come into this tournament. If you throw in South Carolina, sorry, can't come.
So how
But
do
then-
we market that in such a way where it's not just another marathon or another local tournament? See, that's why I'm saying you need to have the support of Waddle because they
Yeah.
want them to push it because they're going to give you that.
Well, it's just
backing.
like Throw Ohio. I mean, look at Throw Ohio. I mean, they've been doing it. They started basically just like this, and then they built a name for it. So if
I
we
guess
think of
we're
a
gonna
good
have
name,
conversation with Throw Ohio and find out how they do it.
yeah, they just had a name, and then they blast it out, and it's one of those ones that most, yeah, right, steal. Most of them people know about. I mean, it's just like the Pro-Am, and which I don't know if I think last year was in Appleton too, because I remember
still-
Austin
I'm
going,
still
but
thinking we should wind up considering even if you talk to the PLS, which is still I think a subdivision of Waddle, right?
yeah. Well, I'm not sure
they
how that
separate
works,
altogether?
but I think so.
Okay, well, still, let's
But-
talk to PLS, talk to Waddle, because my fear, again, is then it becomes separate commissions and everything else, and then
Right.
it just really gets all a crap.
Yeah. Because I'm wondering who does the boards for Appleton, because it's in the convention center, right? I know PLS is looking for venues, right? But technically, I wonder if they would be interested in if like we could rent out the Raleigh Convention Center.
You know what I need to do? We need to actually get a conversation with the people we know. We don't say any names right now. But the people we know in this sport that are at the top of the food chain in this sport that we
Yeah.
had a chance to meet and say, look, we'd like to pitch an idea. What do you think? Because we think this will get you the mass adoption you're looking for without necessarily turning it into a circus show.
Yeah, that's true.
And have the conversation. You guys have already heard us talk about it live. We have it on video that this
Yeah.
was our brain trust and our idea. But I'm not so much concerned with that. I just want to see how can we expand it? How can we do something special? So that's something to consider. So definitely we're going to table this. We're
Yeah.
probably going to bring it back up on our next live and next thing to
Definitely.
talk about because we didn't intend to actually get into this. But like what we told you before, we love axe throwing. We love getting caught up in a lot of stuff. And it looks like we have been on this thing so long, my phone is telling me you need to stand up and move around. The fat butt is just sitting down.
Yeah.
So with that being said, hey, we appreciate you guys joining us tonight.
We still gotta tell them about the raffles and our
that's right,
fundraising
that's right.
ideas.
Go
Yeah.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
All right. So, earlier we talked about some raffles. So right now we are running two.
Mm-hmm.
We are running a 50-50, which is $2 a ticket, or 5 for 10. Yes. All right. Had to get that right there. So whatever money we make, the winner of that, 50% will go to you. 50% is going to go to the Epic Misfits, which is Troy, myself, and a couple other people. It's going to help us get to Appleton, as well as help fund us get to other tournaments and even potentially host a tournament at our local venue, as well as continue doing raffles.
Yeah.
Our second raffle is of our sponsor, Trolley Pub Raleigh. So for anybody that's not familiar with it, the Trolley Pub is one of my second jobs. So it's something else I do. It is a 14-passenger trolley that you pedal. You go to 2 bars, so you'll stop at 2 bars, and it's a 2-hour tour through Raleigh. It's normally a $550 value, I think, and we are doing 1 ticket for $10, 5 tickets for $40. So if you are interested, please reach out to us, either Facebook, Instagram, text with your name and phone number, obviously if we have it, or our contact info. That way we can reach out to you if you win.
And we will go on and put it on the Epic Misfits page. Yes, this is the HWY70 show, but we do represent the Epic Misfits.
Yes.
And so what we'll do is...
We're all intertwined and tangled.
So what we'll do is we'll put it in the events tab, the multiple things, and you're welcome to just click the QR code, and when you never pay for it, put your information and what you're entering, so we know which one to put your pot into.
Yep.
And then we'll get back to let you know what your raffle number is for this one and versus that one.
Yeah.
So we're
So
going
if
to put
you're-
all those things in there. And by the way, we are doing Krispy Kreme donuts.
That's right.
We sell the donuts. That's right. It is cheaper to come through us than it is to go to the cream themselves. Right? I'm telling you, it's $12. I guarantee you go to your local...
$1 a donut.
That's right. And so if you go to your local venue, your local restaurant, or whatever you want to call it.
Krispy Kreme.
Yeah, Krispy Kreme. It's going to be like $14.29 plus tax. You doing good with your boys. So go ahead.
$12.
That's right. So we're going to put it on the Epic Misfits page as under our events tab for you to just continue to go into it, and you'll continue to not only would you win something for yourself or get something for yourself, but you would also be supporting local throwers. So we do appreciate you guys,
Yes.
and all of that is to come, and we'll
And
continue
then
to market it.
Keep on the lookout. For a raffle we will be doing probably next month or a little later. But for anybody that is football fans, we will most likely be raffling off 2 tickets to the...
No, don't tell them which teams.
Okay.
Just know
so
it's the
2
NFL.
NFL games. Yeah.
Two tickets
two tickets to an NFL game.
That's right.
And we will also be probably doing an NHL one as well.
That's
So which that one is, I could say the name of that one probably because it's low. Okay. So anyway, we will be raffling off all sorts of stuff from now until ever probably. Because most of it's going to help with, the show. It's going to help with us go places to throw.
Absolutely.
And
take the show on the road as we throw.
Yes, so that is a goal as well.
When you're supporting HWY70 show, the Epic Misfits, you are supporting axe throwing in general, because we plan to take this nationwide and go as far as we can with it. And I really want us to get out to South Dakota. I want us to go out to Ohio. I am determined to see what those places look like. Even if I don't get a chance to throw, I'd love to just show up and yo, let's do a show for me.
Just do the show.
Yeah.
That would be
That's it for us for now, and then you guys will hear more from us soon. As you know, every Wednesday, come check us out. We are usually going live at 6 o'clock. So this is going to be a consistent show. So set your clock, set your watch, 6 p.m. every Wednesday. So come check us out.
Thank you.
Yep.